So we're talking about scrimmage kicks today. There's two types of scrimmage kicks we're going to have. First one we're going to start with is field goals / tries, and the second one is punts. Like I said, we're going to start with tries and field goals, 4-man mechanics. So let me get it set first to what we're going to see. So definition of a field goal, or to consider it as a field goal, we need to have a player that's at least 7 yards behind the snapper with his knee on the ground and someone else behind him, ready to kick the field goal. If we don't have that formation, then technically it is not a legal scrimmage kick. So just keep that in mind when we talk about scrimmage kicks. But this one right here on screen is obvious. They have a holder, which is about to go on his knee, and we'll have a kicker behind him. So very simple mechanics. Starting with the yard line. If we are inside the 15-yard line, give me a second. We kick inside this 15-yard line, 14.5 yards, 14-yard line, 13-yard line. That means the wings are going to stay in the same position as any other scrimmage play. They both will be on the line of scrimmage, waiting for the snap. Same responsibility as any other scrimmage play. We're watching the snap. We're making sure no one jumps off sides, making sure no one false starts, making sure we have no more than 4 in the back.
Are you referring to the line of scrimmage being there or the position of the holder?
Line of scrimmage.
Okay.
So on this example, they're kicking from the 3-yard line. So that will be the line of scrimmage for this particular field goal / try. All right. Doc, you want to go over umpires mechanics or how they line up?
Well, let's mention one other thing for the wings. Inside the 15-yard line or anywhere else, the wing has to, in tandem with the umpire, know if the ball is touched behind the line of scrimmage or beyond the expanded neutral zone. So wings, you have a very critical point of view. You're the only people that can see that. And in a 4-man crew, a JV game, those kicks are going to be 5 feet off the ground for a long time. So that is an important component. The umpire inside the 15-yard line has wings on both sides of him. So he has fairly normal line play with emphasis on observing the snapper, looking also for illegal blocks, for linemen who are hooking arms, little bitty things like that can happen. Remember that the snapper and the 2 guards, their feet can interlock. No one else can. So inside the 15-yard line, you have normal line play, normal depth, and you have to observe the snapper to make certain that he's protected, and then looking for illegal blocks in the interior line.
All right.
That's it, Delano, inside the 15.
Yep. So I'm going to talk about responsibilities of the wings when we're inside the 15. So again, both wings will be on the line of scrimmage. All right. Our initial key is obviously looking at the ball, making sure the snap is going off. And we'll also have to know who our eligible receivers are. All right. So one, they're eligible by position and by number. All right. So again, like any other scrimmage play, the last guy on the end, if he has a eligible number, then he is legal to catch a pass if something happens. If the widest guy, for instance, for this guy, if he's back, he will be eligible as long as he has an eligible number. So again, whoever's on, depending on what side you're on, you need to know and recognize who is eligible. In this
Delano,
formation, go ahead.
there is, keep going, and then I want to bring up something else inside the 15-yard line.
Okay. All right. So again, it's important. Like for this example, our wing on the left side at the bottom of the screen, it looks like that tight end is covered up, and it looks like he has a 70 number. So even though he is eligible by position, he is not because of his number. He cannot touch the ball because of his number. We have to remember all of that. All right. Once we have everything memorized, or our pre-snap routine is in our head and the ball is about to be snapped, once the ball is snapped, our initial key is the line, but our head line judge, all right, remember, we're not changing, even though we're flipping the field in each game, we're not going to take away responsibilities. So for instance, in the first half, our H will be at the bottom. His job is to initially look down the line, but once the snap is back, he has the protection and needs to know about the holder and the kicker.
That's what I wanted to bring up.
Yep.
Because the referee is the only person that has the good or bad call.
Correct.
Inside the 15.
Correct. So remember, inside the 15, the H has the kicker and the holder. For any roughing, any dirty late hits, you're the only one that's going to look at it because the referee's eyes are somewhere else. The line judge has the whole line of scrimmage. He has to worry about holes, cheap shots, anything. Now, realistically, is anything going to happen within the first 2 seconds? Probably not. But you have that whole responsibility of that line. All right, we're asking a lot of you, but you have to be cognizant of what's going on. So obviously, once the ball is kicked, go ahead and run in so you can have a better view of what may be going on the line of scrimmage. All right. Any questions? Anything you want to add, Doc?
No, it's critical that since the referee's eyes are going to be diverted upward, that someone else besides him sees the kicker and holder.
Correct. All right. Let's move on to 15 or greater. So on the 15-yard line or more, our mechanics will change. Okay. So if the ball again is kicked from the 15-yard line or greater, then we're going to change. So our L, so we're going to use the L at the top screen. We're going to call him L right now. What he needs to do is run under the goalpost. You have pretty much the call of if this field goal is good. All right. You will get help from your referee, maybe late, but we're going to give you the full responsibility of declaring if this ball goes over and inside the uprights. All right. So again, outside the 15, once you realize a kicking tee is on the field, you're going to move from the line of scrimmage and run under the goalpost. All right. Your H,
Pre-snap. Pre-snap, right?
That is pre-snap, correct.
Okay.
Before the ball is snapped, you need to be in position under the goalpost.
This is only 4-man.
This is only 4-man, correct.
Yeah, and that's the line judge. He's under the goalpost.
Correct. So we understand that you're not going to necessarily be under each goalpost to determine if it went over or inside. Just make your best judgment. All right. For the H, now you have everything. You got the snap, false start throughout the whole line of scrimmage. All right. You are by yourself. All right. You have to make sure you have a legal formation, not more than 4 in the backfield. And then also got to clarify if you got any holding on any line play on the line of scrimmage. All right. You're not worried about the kicker holding once you're outside the 15. You have enough responsibility just on the line of scrimmage. All right, Dr. Rupp, you got anything to add for your umpires or anything else you want to add?
All right, umpire, this is a major change because the line judge is leaving his sideline completely uncovered. So you are going to shade to the line judge side, but you still have responsibility for interior line play that we talked about earlier. But on a fake or a muffed snap, you have got to cover laterally. And this is a brutal situation because you're going to get outrun to that sideline. You're going to get outrun to that pylon. And the line judge, once he recognizes what's happening, is going to help you out. But you have got to cover laterally. So you want to shade to the line judge side. Now, this rarely happens, what I'm describing, but still keep it in mind. And still, you have to determine where the ball is touched if it's tipped. That is still your partial responsibility.
All right.
Okay, DeLon. Okay.
Any questions before we move on? All right. Let's go to our next. The main one that we'll see most of the game is punt formation. All right. All right. On a 4-man mechanics, it becomes very difficult because now we have more ground to cover with less officials. But as far as just lining up, what we're going to do is the H. Again, we're going to use the H for now as at the bottom. He is responsible for the whole line of scrimmage, just like on a extra point or field goal that's outside the 15-yard line. You have legal formation. Make sure there's no more than 4 in the backfield. You have false start. You have encroachment for the whole line of scrimmage before that ball is snapped. All right. For the L, we're going to say he's on the top side for the first half. Pre-snap position is once you realize that the benches are clear for punt, what you're going to do is run all the way down the field to your punt returner and let him know if you fair catch it, give me a good signal as you're running down. Who's my punt returner? Who's my punt returner? Number 5. Give me a good signal on a fair catch. You want to demonstrate that with waving your hand just once over your head. Just let them know a legal signal is a one wave over your head. Okay? Your position, since you're coming from the top side, you want to position yourself more towards the sideline, about 7 yards behind the punt return. And once you're there, and once the ball is kicked, you want to have a belt, 7-yard belt. So wherever he moves, you still keep that cushion. Okay. So for example, if he starts moving this way, you also need to move your back here. You also want to move that way so that your 7-yard belt still is legit, still is formed. That way you can have good angles. Okay. You want to go over umpire before I go into mechanics and what you look at for keys?
Yep. Okay, umpire. In a 4-man crew, it may not be initially recognized that a team is going to punt. Most of the time it will be, but you may have to stand over the ball until your line judge gets in position. Remember that depending upon which half it is, the line judge will be on a different side. You want to shade to the line judge side because on a fake punt, you have got to help cover. All right. Short of that, your normal depth, 6 to 9 yards. You have all the interior line play. You have the contact on the center, and you have to know whether the ball is touched beyond the expanded neutral zone. That's it, Delano.
All right. One thing I forgot to mention, as far as a legal scrimmage kick for punt formation. For it to become legal, you have to have at least one player behind the snapper that is 10 yards or more. So if you have a guy 5 yards, say for instance in shotgun, even though you know he's going to punt it, that is not a legal scrimmage kick formation.
Yeah. One more thing, Delano.
Yes,
Umpires. On 4th down, any numbered player can be in any position on 4th down in a scrimmage kick formation for a punt. You have to know that number 24, that's a guard, is not an eligible receiver on a fake punt or a muffed snap. So you have to memorize quickly who the eligible or ineligible people are on the interior line. That is something that takes practice. All right.
Okay.
Sorry.
Hey, Delano.
Go ahead.
In a situation like you mentioned where, a team likes to pooch kick on
Right.
4th down, so we know it's going to be a quote unquote punt, but they're not lined up like one. Do we just maintain our regular mechanics?
The best thing I like to do, you kind of got to gauge the game.
Mm-hmm.
Try to find out if you have a punt returner back here. All right. If you have a punt return that's this deep, go ahead and go back.
Okay.
All right.
If you're going to do Fannin County, middle school or JV, they are never going to line up in a punt scrimmage kick formation, legal scrimmage kick formation. They're going to stay in their spread, and their punter is going to be one person behind the snapper 5 yards, and they'll quick kick it. So keep that in mind. Some teams will do that.
Correct.
Just for the element of surprise.
If you have this deep guy, just continue on, Brian. If you have this deep guy and he's up here, stay on the line of scrimmage, because you should be good enough that if there is a quick kick, that most likely he'll be retreating and you could get yourself in position to officiate. You're not going to run all the way down the field. You're not going to run away all the way down the field. But what you might do is hustle down maybe 20 yards and start officiating. Make sure he touches and catches the ball and returns it, and then start officiating mixed colors.
Okay.
So that would be my suggestion. If he's deep, go ahead, go back deep. If he's up, then just play it like any other legal scrimmage play.
Okay.
Hey, Delano, to that point, pre-snap, you got a deep returner, and your L what's the timing of you trying to get in position? I mean, you're on the line of scrimmage. At what point are you then, trying to get deep to get that 7 yard
So
belt?
what should happen if it's a punt, say it comes out late? What Doc said is our umpire should be over the ball so that we as a officiating crew could get in position.
He is not going to let that snap go off until he sees him in position.
Right.
Gotcha. Okay.
The white hat should also be telling the crew, hey, we got a punt formation. He should also be looking for that line judge to be downfield, make sure he's in position before he waves off the umpire. So this type of formation, this type of play, it takes a crew, a crew communication to make sure everybody's in place before this punt is off.
Got it.
All right. And then usually your H should help out. Say you forget, say you lost track of what down it is. He should be letting you know, hey, you're downfield. Doc, I need you to hold that play. Umpire, hold that ball. Hold that ball so that we can get into position. So it's a crew communication for this type of play.
Hey, guy, 1/4 of the plays in a high school football game involve kicking of some type. There's nothing more difficult than officiating 22 people all moving at the same time. So this is a challenge.
All right. So, like Doc was mentioning, a good thing as you're running down. So let's start with the H. Obviously, we got formations, but it's key to know who our eligible receivers are. So usually what I'll do is glance at the shield first. Just call up my number 4, 57, 2. 57 is not eligible to catch the ball for legal 4 pass. So I'll call out 4 and 2. Then I look who's on my side as the last guy on the end. It might be 4. It might be 6. So I got 6, 4, and 2. It's going to be hard to see what number this guy on the far side is. So at that point, our L needs to be cognizant of what that number is. So as he's running down the field, talking to his returner, once he gets set, it'll be helpful for him to look at who's that eligible receiver, so that if there's a fire call or fake punt, he knows if there's anybody but 87 that's catching the ball, I'm gonna talk to my crew. Was that guy eligible? All right. So the H, you need to memorize a lot. L, you just need help just in case that outside guy we can't get a number. We might need your help to see if he is eligible or not. Once you're in position and the ball is kicked, all right, you first want to have eyes upfield to see mixed colors. All right, just want to be cognizant of that. Once you have a mesh point, also focus on this return guy for any fair catch calls. Kind of got to look through him. He's the most important thing is a return guy. You're looking for fair catch or invalid fair catch. All right. You want to kind of look through him kind of this way, making sure there's no mixed colors. All right. Once he catches the ball and secures it, you need a beanbag that the kick has ended. If he touches it and muffs it, it's still a kick. All right. Once he catches and starts returning it, you have his forward progress all the way up the field. All right. All right. For your H, what you need to do is help out on any blocks that may occur in front of that punt return. So you have the first wave of blockers to help out your other wing. So if there's anything illegally happening before that catch, and once he catches it, it's going to be a hard transition for him to get off that punt return and move to block. So you have the first wave of guys as you're running down. All right. Once that play clears, I know this is a fair catch. Once that catch clears and he starts returning, now you're looking at mixed colors for the line judge, and H, you're looking for anything backside, primarily on your side, because the umpire will help out on the vacated side by the line judge. You could go, Doc.
Okay, umpire, you're still 6-9. You've got interior line play. You've got eligible and ineligible receivers. Once the kick is made, you turn and let the first wave pass you. Then you work your way downfield, staying in the middle third, looking for illegal blocks and holding. You work the return inside out. Stay inside the return if it's on the lateral, and work it inside out like you would a play from scrimmage when it comes straight down the field. You're one of the few people that can actually see the illegal blocks in the back and blind side blocks, because other people have their eyes occupied. So work hard on that. Remember that there's something known as PSK. All of you need to know what that means. Post scrimmage kick enforcement. PSK. All of you learn that as well, because it will have a lot to do with enforcement of a penalty on R during a punt. That's it, Delana.
All right. Just one last thing. We're not asking y'all to be track stars, but we understand that if there's a long return, that we're not going to be right there when the player's down, or if it passes the goal line, we're going to be there right for a touchdown seat. Just do your best you can to officiate the play and get there when you can. The punt play, scrimmage play is truly a crew, help type play. All right, so R might be at the goal line helping out with that touchdown signal. Just because we know that it's going to be hard to get from point A to B, and with only 4 of us, there's more players on the field than our 2 referees to dissect every single action that happens. So biggest thing is we're looking for point of attack fouls, making sure there's no block below the waist during a return. Cannot happen anywhere. That is a safety foul. So anything is point of attack, safety is the key for scrimmage kicks. Any questions?
If I use the term gunner, you guys understand what that is?
Yes.
Well, in a 4-man crew, the gunners are very, very hard to cover. Those are the guys that are going down on Team K. They're basically wide receivers, and they're gunning down for that kicker, or that punt returner. So everybody's got to have their eyes open and aware that those are the guys that are likely to get illegal blocks or held. You agree with that, Delano?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. I don't have anything else to say, Delano, other than if you've got North Paldy and Allatoona 10th grade and you're in a 4-man crew, you really got to know what you're doing.
All right, yep, that's it for me, guys. You got any questions, whether it's about scrimmage kicks or anything that may have happened this past Friday?
Brian, you there?
Yes, sir.
You were the clock operator at my game. You noticed that even with 6 people out there, sometimes communication breaks down.
Mhm.
Imagine what it's like with a 4-man crew.
Yeah.
You have really got to not be in a hurry. Okay. I can't emphasize that enough.
So
Did you guys have questions about rules or things you saw?
So Doc, in a situation like that where you're on a 4-man and something's, uh, you know, the teams are lining up to play, but you're not ready. I mean, how do you slow it down so that you can get everything in order before, not letting them dictate your pace, I guess.
Right. Don't, first of all, you got a whistle. You can hold everything up with a whistle.
Yeah.
The umpire can hold up the snap till everybody gets in position. There's an art to this, I think, in recognizing the situations. Late in the game, late in the quarter, time running down. Those are the kind of things an offensive team that's got to move the ball quickly. Those kind of situations you really have got to be attuned to.
Yeah.
I would add one thing, if you can, before the game, look at the punters and kickers. They're going to tell you what's going to happen throughout the game. If you got a kicker missing 10-yard field goals, they ain't taking no field goal that's outside of 15.
Yeah.
If their punter is shanking the ball every other time because it's really the running back, but no one else punt, so we're going to try to put the running back there or a lineman. That's the only time he gets in the game is to punt. Just be cognizant of that. So, line up in your initial position and then gauge what you think may happen.
Many of your 9th and 10th grade teams aren't even going to have kickers. They're going to go for 2. So be cognizant of that.